Jai Gurudev and Hari Om. 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badaraya Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vante Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarabham Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Vande Guru Parampara Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev. So is my voice clear enough?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So yesterday we stopped at this. We talked about Shama and Dama. Let's just go through this one. Yeah, the removal of delusion. What can you do about this delusion of desire with regard to your mind, buddhi, and senses? The places where karma operates, be careful. Exercise your capacity to curtail or stop the senses whenever you want something that does not benefit you. Any sense pursuit can be stopped just short of overt expression, as in eating, for example. One can always say enough, even when from inside the desire keeps saying, come on, have a little more. To stop a sense pursuit at the level of the senses is called Dhamma. We have seen that one has no control over the wants that arise in one's head because of one's nature. You cannot say, I want to avoid this want, because You cannot avoid it. Your desires do not need to be controlled, in fact. Your Prakriti, your nature is your entire past, the remote past and the immediate past, all of which can give rise to a certain type of thinking and certain wants. Your likes and dislikes just happen. You cannot do anything about them. What you can do, however, is to keep a certain distance between yourself and your likes and dislikes. In other words, you need not deliver yourself to them. This is what is called Shama. So keeping a distance between our likes and our dislikes. Thus, there are two disciplines, Shama, Dhamma, and Shama, with reference to Kama. Although you need not worry about what you think, what you desire, it is also not to your advantage to do whatever you want based on your desires alone. Therefore, do not fall prey to your simple fancies and wants. Always look into yourself and see what is proper. Is it feasible, necessary, and useful to fulfill a particular desire? Is it proper? There may not be anything wrong with the desire. It may be quite legitimate, but not at all necessary. Or it may be feasible to fulfill the desire. You may be able to buy something that you want, but you do not need it. Therefore, why buy it? It may be useful, but is it necessary to have this particular object? Instead of simply buying it, consider first how useful it is in terms of your priorities. Having weighed all the factors, you can then go with the desire or not go with it. This deliberation is Shama. And if, having gone along with the desire, you find that you want more and more, you then say, no, thus far and no further. This is where you require Dhamma, which can be practiced daily whenever you feel like having another helping of food. Only when you practice Shama and Dhamma can you manage your wants. Otherwise, they will manage you and make a mess of your life. Therefore, taking the various factors into account, go with your desires, but do not let them make your decisions for you. To manage your desires in this way, you need to be very alert, as Krishna points out in the next verse. Tasmat tvamindriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshapha papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Bharatarshabha, O prominent among the descendants of Bharata, Arjuna, tasmat, therefore, tvam, you, adau, at the outset, indriyani, sense organs, niyamya, controlling, he indeed, enam, this, jnana vijnana nashanam, the destroyer of knowledge and wisdom, papmanam, sinner, prajahi, destroy. Therefore, O Arjuna, controlling the senses at the outset, destroy indeed the sinner, the destroyer of knowledge and wisdom. In this verse, Krishna told Arjuna to destroy his karma, which had turned into krodha and had robbed him of his wisdom, which in turn would make him a sinner, a papma. The karma was to be destroyed in terms of giving it up, as Shankara makes it very clear in his commentary. Giving up the want, not going with it, is the practice of Shama. If you do not go with the wants as they arise, they will not continue to come up indefinitely. If someone keeps calling you and each time the person says hello, you put down the phone, how long will he or she keep calling? Here too, if you do not go with the wants, they will go because there is no one to support them. In this way, whatever karma that is there becomes meaningless. As long as I have a distance between myself and my raga dveshas, I can decide to go with them or not to go with them. Let them be there. They need not affect me at all. This is the beauty of what is being said here. We are not trying to eliminate the wants. We only want to maintain enough distance or space, to use the American expression, so that we can decide either to go with the want or not to go with it. This is real space, freedom, and is also the practice of Shama. Why is Kama called a Papma, a sinner here? Because it robs you of your knowledge and wisdom. It is Jnana Vijnana Nashana. We refer to the people who rob us of our money as criminals, but such petty thieves cannot rob us of our knowledge, the greatest wealth we have gathered. Money can always be gathered again, but because knowledge is not as easily gathered, it is considered to be our greatest treasure. Knowledge is something that is gathered, garnered, gleaned over a long period of time from varieties of experiences. To take away such a treasure, therefore, is a great sin. Thus, Kama is called a Papma. A person who robs you of your money is not a Papi. This term is reserved for that which robs you of your real treasure, your knowledge and discriminative power. Kama. Knowledge, jnana, can also be taken here to mean the wisdom that leads to vijnana, the knowledge of realities. The one who is a destroyer of this jnana and vijnana is definitely a papi, sinner-like, a criminal, in other words. Krishna told Arjuna to give up kama first by practicing dhamma, and then by practicing shama. This is why people practice silence, mauna, for a length of time, for an hour, 2 hours, in the morning, and so on. People make these small vows all the time. The sadhus also practice certain disciplines, such as not talking or not eating on certain days. These practices of Dhamma lead to Shama, the capacity to sort out your wants and go with what you want. This is so good. No? Does anyone want to share or say anything in this? So it is very clear that Bhagwan is saying it is not wrong to have desires. Desires can be there. They are part of your prakriti. You can't help it. But whether or not you want to go along with it, whether it's along your swadharma or is it paradharma, whether it is towards shreyas or is it only towards prayers, that makes the difference.
Jai Gurudev, controlling the anger in certain situation, will it come under Shama?
Yeah, anger control comes under Shama because it's mind control, no? It has nothing to do with the senses.
Yeah.
Because you are controlling your reaction to whatever has happened.
First Dhamma will be controlled, then Shama will be controlled.
Yeah. Here specifically he's talking of with respect to sense organs, sense objects, no? So the thing is sense objects, senses, and then the mind.
Yeah.
See, that is what he's coming to in this next verse. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha Indriyani, senses. Parani, superior. Ahuhu, they say. Indriyebhyaha, to the sense organs. Param, superior. Manaha, mind. Manasaha, to the mind. Buddhihi, intellect. Para, superior. Buddhehi, paratah, tu yaha. Whereas the one who is superior to the intellect, saha, is he, Atma. They say that the sense organs are superior to the body, the mind is superior to the sense organs, the intellect is superior to the mind, whereas the one who is superior to the intellect is he, the Atma. When Arjuna asked his question about what or who it was that impelled a person to perform improper actions, Duryodhana was standing right in front of him. Duryodhana knew what he was doing was wrong. Arjuna knew this. These two men had grown up together, had been raised in the same way, and had the same teachers. Besides, right and wrong do not require to be taught. Duryodhana knew what was right and wrong, but still he did what he did because of karma. Because of karma alone, or because of anger, which is karma in another form, a person does things that are not to be done. Anger is not something separate from karma. It is a modification, parinama of your own expectation, your own desire. When there is no expectation, there is no anger at all. If you expect certain things to happen and they do not happen, karma can turn into anger if you are not ready to accept what faces you. Because karma transforms itself into anger in this way, Lord Krishna said, this desire is this anger. Kama esha, krodha esha. Kama can express as want, passion, and anger, Krishna said. And because this karma covers your wisdom, it deludes you. It takes you for a ride. However, when you do not want a particular pursuit based on desire to go any further, when you are convinced that it has gone far enough, you should be able to stop it, to pull down the shutters on it. The dictating factor here is your wisdom, your understanding, and not your fancies. This is exactly what you were asking, right? So, kama esha, krodha esha. Because any desire which is unfulfilled or gets obstructed leads to krodha.
What is meaning of Asia?
Esha is this. So,
Is.
this is. Like
No,
this
no, how it is connected there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Eshaha is this. So kama, this kama is this krodha itself. That is what he's meaning.
Oh.
Because unfulfilled karma is what leads to anger.
This desire is this anger. Oh.
Mm.
Kama esha, krodha esha. This desire is this anger.
Mm.
Good. Many times I was confused with this. Yes, here it is given correctly. Really wonderful.
So distancing ourselves from our desires as they arise. Otherwise, just there's no difference between animals and us. Of course, animals don't have a desire, they're only instinctive.
Distancing yourself with desire is
Shama.
Dhamma. Good. And Dhamma.
Dhamma is having a say on your senses when you want more and more, or you stop your sense pursuits from,
Thoda
yeah.
dam le lo, they say, no? Means stop little bit.
Like, see, it is not just wanting more and more. It is when you are able to also say, have a say on your sense, like in the example given here, Swamiji was talking of keeping silence for a few hours, not eating, refraining from eating, doing a fast. So all that is also exercise of Dhamma. Because you're having a say on your senses. There's something very nice and very delicious, something very, inviting, but you have taken this decision not to eat. So your exercise of Dhamma will come in then when you can say no to whatever it is. You will be a slave to your desire if you say, oh, you'll give some excuse in your mind. You know what? I will fast again sometime later. Let me have this. No. And if you remember, Gurudev, oh, sorry, 1 minute, my battery, I need to charge my battery. 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
Thoda dam le lo, thoda dam le lo, no, they say. So that is the correct way of remembering it. Means while we are engaged in the sense, we have to pause little and see. Stop. We can put break over that. That is Dhamma. Very good. Shama and Dhamma. Completely removing out of that object is Shama. When we see, we get that desire, So, mindfully, we should avoid it. We may see it, but mindfully we avoid it. That is Shama. And then, rejoicing in that desire. Now we have agreed that we want that. But rejoicing in that only, holding on for some time, not over enjoying it, is Dhamma. Good. Shama and Dhamma.
Hariom, I love the Swamiji's example that you keep calling someone and if you don't reply, then automatically he or she will not call you again. I mean, the same thing. I mean, it's so beautiful. And there is a beautiful word in Sanskrit for enough, alam. Enough.
What is that?
Alam.
Alam. Ah. So good.
Yeah, that's very nice, Vila. The calling.
Brahmaraj, sharing the Gurudev's example, kindly share.
Yeah, Gurudev, if in Patanjali Yoga Sutras had mentioned regarding Dhamma, he said, on the flight, you have taken a decision not to watch whatever the movie or something is coming up or you don't want to watch. You want to rest or you want to do something else. But then, time and again, you open up your eyes, supposing a neighbor is watching or something, and you constantly you're going and checking on what is happening. So that is lack of Dhamma. But if you are strong enough and steadfast enough to say no, and that no is an emphatic no, then you've had a say on your senses. That is exercise of Dhamma. So Dhamma, see, we have so many opportunities in our day-to-day world, in our daily life, that we can exercise Dhamma. So Dhamma is first and then Shama.
See, we have been doing this since I had joined Shama, Dhamma, Dhamma name. But clarity came this time, you see. So, how this daily sadhana and daily into the knowledge, when it you get the clarity, you don't know. You see? Shama and Dhamma, I have been following and I was knowing it also, but the clarity, the exact, now it came. So nice. Wonderful it is. And this Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, I have been repeating this and I was knowing it and all that. But this desire is this anger. Oh, wonderful. That is the really good. You don't know when you hold on to one word, when it. So nice. This desire is this growth.
They're all rhyming, isn't it? Kama, Shama, Dama. They're all just four-letter words in
Yes.
English. In Sanskrit, they're just 2 syllables. But they're also rhyming. They can either take you up the scale of towards Shreyas or take you down. If it is plus Shama, Dama and minus Kama, it takes you up to Shreyas. Whereas if it is Kama with Shama, Dama minus, it will take you down the spiral.
It is born out of Rajoguna.
Yes.
Mhm.
Discover the distance between yourself and your desires. Krishna was not asking to suppress or repress your desires. So it's actually wrong when I say Kama minus. Kama can be there, no problem. But along with Shama and Dhamma. He said to attend to, wait a second, I can't see that. Yeah, he said that to attempt to control likes and dislikes does not serve any useful purpose because the mind has its own ways. But you need not be swayed by them. In this way, your likes and dislikes will be no problem to you. Since your desires are located in the senses, mind and intellect, you have complete mastery over them by discovering a distance between yourself and your likes and dislikes. You cannot stay in the mind itself and have mastery over it. The more you go inside, the more reasons you find for why you are the way you are. This exploration may provide you with a certain understanding, but it cannot remove the reason, which is the problem psychology is faced with. Some understanding, some validation, and so on is useful, no doubt. But if you're always stuck with the same problem, what is the use of this kind of understanding? How can you deal with the problem? How can you master such a mind? To address this concern, Krishna said here that you have to go one step further. You must be yourself so that you can manage your mind. In this way, you will be able to take care of all your raga dveshas, all your kamas. You can take care of your raga dveshas or kamas only when you are able to step outside of the kamas. If you want to weigh something, for example, you cannot be inside of that which you are weighing. If I recall correctly, Newton was supposed to have said, if only I could be somewhere a little away from the earth, then I would be able to weigh the earth. Similarly, how can you fix up your mind when you are in the very midst of its mess? If you manage to solve one problem, another one will only pop up in its place. If you discover, for example, that all your problems are due to your mother, what do you have then? You have the problem of having had this mother. Then you will ask, why did I have this mother? Why didn't I have a better mother? Why did my mother behave like this? Nothing comes of this in that you are left with the same problem. In spite of the benefit of some validation, some understanding, the problem itself does not really go away. This is what keeps people going to therapists. And once they begin to go, the going itself becomes yet another addiction. It becomes something that must be done. Thus, although some help may come from the therapy, another problem has definitely been created. Ultimately, in order to deal with the problem, you have to step out of it, which is not to discount the usefulness of therapy as such. All that is being said is that you cannot really deal with psychological problems within samsara unless you step out of it. And how do you step out of samsara? Arjuna already had 1 foot out, it seemed, by planning to go to Rishikesh as a sannyasi. He thought he would be stepping out of samsara. But this is stepping in, not out. Stepping out does not imply any external change. All that is implied is your situational change in terms of one's understanding, wherein the distance between one's desires, one's likes and dislikes is discovered. Only then can the mind be mastered. There's so much of fine tuning that is happening here. So stepping out and creating that distance between your desire, discovering the distance between yourself and your desires is coming from the sense of understanding. It is that an internal understanding of this, where you have a distance between your likes and dislikes. Only then can the mind be mastered, because you cannot handle the mind with the mind. You need to understand what the mind is, and then you'll be able to have a say on the mind. The order involved in mastering the mind. Whatever we master is always mastered from another standpoint, which implies a particular order. Krishna was addressing this order here when he told Arjuna that those who know say that the senses are superior. So say the wise. Indriyani parani ahu panditaha. The word superior, of course, implies comparison. And thus the question, superior to what? To the physical body is the response. The senses, indriyani, are superior to the physical body, which is a part of an individual, a jiva. They are superior because they have the capacity to objectify the body. The eyes and other senses can objectify the body. That is, you can see your body with your senses. Another reason that the senses are said to be superior to the body is because they are subtler in nature. Being subtle, the senses have pervasiveness, vyapakatva. For example, the body remains on the ground, whereas the eyes can go to the stars. To do anything at all, the body has to move, whereas the sense of sight, by simply opening the eyes, has already gone to the stars. Thus, the eyes and other senses are more pervasive than the physical body. The superiority of the senses is further established by the fact that they are inside the physical body in the form of the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. Then the verse goes on to say that the mind is superior to the sense organs. Indriyebhyaha param manaha, because the mind can go where the senses cannot. For example, the mind alone can go to heaven. It can also suffer an imagined hell, which is something that the senses cannot do. Also, the mind is the one in whose hands the senses are. Without the mind, there is no sense perception at all. Thus, the mind is definitely superior to the senses. It has access to regions where the senses have no scope. The mind's accessibility and the dependence of the sense organs on the mind definitely makes the mind superior, according to those who know. Again, with reference to the mind, the intellect is said to be superior, manasastu para buddhihi, because the buddhi is able to dismiss a doubt of the mind with proper understanding. Buddhi includes your will also. Doubting and vacillation are the mind. Once there is a resolve, which is buddhi, there is no more vacillation. You cannot say you have both resolve and vacillation at the same time. Once the resolve is there, the vacillating mind, the doubting mind goes away. Thus, the buddhi is definitely
excuse me?
superior. Yeah,
Sorry, does that mean the deliberation happens in the mind and buddhi takes the decision?
I didn't get the question, Rinal.
Deliberation happens in the mind and the final decision is taken by the buddhi. Is that so?
Correct. The buddhi is the discerning factor. Nischayatmikam buddhi. Whereas manaha, what is the definition for manas? Samshayatmakam manaha. The doubting, it's always vacillating. That is the mind. Whereas the buddhi is the one that resolves, that firms up the decision to do or not to do, or to go with this decision or not to go with the decision. So that deciding factor is the intellect. Therefore, the buddhi is superior to the manaha. Again, with reference to the mind, the intellect is said to be superior. Manasastu para buddhi. Yeah, I think this we finished reading, no? So thus the buddhi is definitely superior to the mind. Desire is destroyed by recognizing you are limitless. The mind and buddhi are the places wherein karma moves. The karmas are located right here. The difference between the mind and buddhi is only with reference to the types of vritti that take place there. We have seen how the desire located in the mind can be so powerful that it can take the buddhi along with it. Therefore, in order to really deal with your desires, you have to step outside of them. Then you can see exactly where the karma is hiding. This is why Krishna went on to say that the one who is above the buddhi is Atma, yourself. Yaha tu buddhehe paratah saha paramatma. What Krishna meant here is that in order to take care of the karmas, you have to recognize yourself as a Paramatma. Even though he said to practice Dhamma and Shama, you have also to see that you are not the buddhi, the mind, or the senses. You are the Paramatma, the limitless. Once you are awake to this fact, the enemy, karma, is no more a problem. This then is how you deal with karma drastically and finally. When you are free from any sense of limitation, there is no enemy, and the wants you may have become harmless, mere privileges, in fact. Your mind is there, and you have the privilege of desiring. Desiring is a privilege only when you do not need to fulfill any desire in order to be secure and happy.
When you feel full, you will not have desires. That is what it is. When you say that you are limitless, you are complete, so desires will not come. That is what the satisfaction, the fulfillment.
So it is, instead of it being a karma, it becomes a privilege.
Yeah. Now, when we will desire, we will not have. When we don't have, you see, when we don't have, we desire it. But when we say that we have everything, we are limitless, so that desires will not come. Simple as that.
So desiring is a privilege only when you do not need to fulfill any desire in order to be secure and happy. That's why we put conditions, no? If I get this, I will be happy. So this brings us to the beautiful questions we asked in the happiness program, day 2. What is it the first day what are your, when will you be happy and what do you need to be happy?
You are
Isn't
already happy. If you remove all the desires, we are happy.
So their list comes up. When I get this, I will be happy. When I can make my family happy, I will be happy. When I have health, I will be happy. And all that comes in. So it is like you are hooking on your happiness to something external, something outside of you, something to be desired. So along with desire will come, and it is only if you fulfill that desire, you think you'll be happy. But here it is, you are limitless, you are happiness. So what is it that you want? Therefore, with or without, you can still be, you're still happy. So then that desiring itself becomes a privilege. So then you can say, I want to have this. And whether you get that want fulfilled or not, you are still happy. So you are not perturbed. You are like that calm ocean, which is completely full. It does not need to be, uh, it does not need anything else to complete it. You're in a state of complete fullness, fulfillment. Lastly, Krishna said,
last sentence is very nice. Desiring is a privilege only when you do not need to fulfill any desire in order to be secure and happy. You are already happy.
Lastly, Krishna said, Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Mahabahu, O mighty armed Arjuna, evam, in this way, buddhehe, to the intellect, param, superior, buddha, knowing, atmana, by the self, that is buddhi, atmanam, the mind, samstabhya, having made steady, kama rupam, in the form of want, durasadam, difficult to understand, shatrum, enemy, jahi, destroy. O Arjuna, knowing that which is superior to the intellect in this way, having made the mind steady with the buddhi, destroy the enemy that is in the form of desire, that which is so difficult to understand. In the previous verse, Krishna revealed a fact, that which is above the buddhi, because of which the buddhi is illumined, is the Paramatma. And because a mastered mind is required to know this Paramatma, Krishna concluded the chapter here by summing up what is to be done to destroy karma. The senses and the mind are in the hands of the buddhi alone because the buddhi is superior to them. Therefore, the buddhi is their master. The buddhi, meaning one's viveka, discrimination, steadies the mind and senses. Therefore, he said, Atmanam Atmana samstabhya shatrum jahi. Here, Krishna told Arjuna that he should destroy the enemy in the form of desire, kama rupam shatrum jahi, by knowing that which is above the buddhi, buddhehe param buddhva. To destroy an enemy outside of oneself is relatively easy, especially for Arjuna, who had so many special missiles at his disposal. But to destroy this inner enemy, karma, requires tact, maturity, dispassion, and understanding. To indicate that Arjuna had these resources, Krishna addressed Arjuna as Mahabaho, one who is mighty armed. The enemy in the form of want is an only expression of ignorance. Ignorance being the mother of karma and its brood, anger, jealousy, fear, and so on. Therefore, to destroy the enemy, one must destroy ignorance. Which can only be done through jnana, knowledge. This enemy is said to be Durasada here, that which is very difficult to understand. It would seem that desires should be very easy to understand since they just appear. But this is not the case because every desire has a desire behind it. There is always a reason for liking something, and there is a reason for that reason. Therefore, there is no end to the desires that are there, all of which is to be understood. Only when karma makes you suffer by its presence are you a samsari, a sufferer. With knowledge, you can enjoy the presence of a karma. Even if you are surprised by it, you can also be amused. You can either go with it or you need not go with it. When you step outside of your desires in this way, in terms of knowledge, all your desires become privileges for you. Thus, whether you are a karma yogi or a sannyasi, there is no other way of dealing with karma except through jnana. What better way for Krishna to have made this point than to conclude this chapter entitled Karma with Jnana, the only true conqueror of the enemy of desire. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyaya Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyayaha. I think we'll just do some manana on this and then go to the meaning of Om, because that will be a totally different topic. So, having a say on your desires is all that as karma yogis we have to do, because that is what will make us have a say on our raga dveshas, which is what will clean up our antakarna and create that shuddha antakarna wherein knowledge can happen. But then in order, it's going in a cycle. In order to have a say of your raga dveshas, you have to have jnana, which is what Krishna has said in this last chapter, in this last stanza. No? He said this enemy has to be handled, taken care of with understanding, only with knowledge. So this knowledge, I think what he's talking of is paroksha jnana. It is not aparoksha jnana. Correct? Because for a karma yogi, he's still not become a jnani. He's still in the work in progress. So he has to deal with his raga dveshas. Which is why with this knowledge that the senses are superior to the body, the mind is superior to the senses, the buddhi is superior to the intellect, and therefore, and then the atma is superior to the buddhi. So understanding that this atma is limitless makes you free from these limiting desires that make you feel limited, that you feel you have to satisfy a desire, fulfill a desire in order to feel limitless. That is that understanding he's talking about, I suppose, because we're talking of a karma yogi.
Excuse me, Brahmana. Just fill up that last sentence. Jnana, the true conqueror of the enemy of desire. What is enemy of desire? It's conqueror of the desire only, no? Something.
Thus, whether you are a karma yogi or a sannyasi, there is no other way of dealing with karma except through jnana. What better way for Krishna to make this point than to conclude this chapter entitled Karma with Jnana, the only true conqueror of the enemy of desire.
Enemy of desire. That I didn't understand.
Yeah, I mean, he is considering the desire as an enemy.
Conqueror of the enemy, the desire is should not of desire, enemy of desire. Something, I think that is some English.
Yeah, I think it is, because if you go back to this verse, it says, knowing that which is superior to the intellect in this way, having made the mind steady with the buddhi, destroy the enemy that is in the form of desire, that which is so difficult to understand. So the desire itself is the enemy here. So destroy the enemy that is in the form of desire. Kama rupam.
That means that sentence is wrong. Means enemy of desire. No. The enemy desire.
Maybe it's a typo. Maybe it's a typo.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. So all of Karma Yoga boils down to this, isn't it? Number one, aspects of Karma Yoga. If we can all sum up what we have understood of Karma Yoga, will be good before we go on to that next para. So one thing is that there is no escaping karma, because we are still, you cannot just take to sannyasa because you think that is an easy way to moksha. Certainly not, because unless your mind is prepared, taking to sannyasa, you will only, it will be like a mithyachara. It will be like deception. Because you would take sannyasa, you would go to Rishikesh, but you would still keep thinking of your wife and your children. And Krishna, Arjuna, for instance, if he had taken to sannyasa, he would only be nursing that the desire to rout out all the Kauravas. So that is certainly not what it is. So having understood that karma is important, instead of just doing karma as a karmi, we have to elevate ourselves as we are mumukshus to karma yoga. And karma yoga has a few aspects to it. There are some requirements, not only that you follow dharma. So you have this clear distinction between dharma and adharma. You're of course following dharma. And the second important thing is that you follow dharma with a understanding that Ishvara is the karma phala data and the karma adhyaksha. So whatever you do unto Ishvara, unto the Lord, and whatever result you get from your actions, you take it as prasada. You don't sit and grumble. You are only grateful for whatever is being given. And in that one particular para was, everything is given. Understanding that everything you have been given, this body, this mind, these senses, this beautiful universe, people around you, they're all being given to you. So when we come from that sense of gratitude, then you're able to be a karma yogi. And then finally, the aspect of dealing with your desires is how you deal with them. Making your desires a privilege. Coming from that space of abundance and not belittling yourself and saying, only if I fulfill this desire, I will be happy. So that will actually you're like cutting the sword of cleaning up your raga dveshas. It's like cleaning up that mirror which has a lot of dust. And when the antakarana becomes shuddh, and this can happen only with knowledge, understanding, not just, suppressing the mind. So many people have done that. No, they say you must, what is that? Out of suppression, you're not going to gain anything. It will pop up like you're suppressing your desires. No, out of understanding, when you do, this is the sequence, and this is why I'm doing this. then it takes you to a higher level of understanding and actually deep inner cleansing. Yeah,
See,
go ahead.
this um, getting that jnana and being in the sannyasa mode, okay? In that, you are actually going into the nirguna upasana, not that he asked in the 12th chapter, which is good, nirguna upasana or the upasana with body. So there, Krishna says, greater is the difficulty for those whose mind is set on the realization of the unmanifest. That is Nirguna Brahman. Because the unmanifested is reached with difficulty by embodied beings. Here you understand it, unless mind is clean, unless mind is made perfect to go to sannyasa, you cannot achieve sannyasa. That he tells in the 12th chapter, that I was not understanding it, how it is difficult. But again, reading back here, I'm getting into that connection here. It is so good.
That is why, if you remember, we were actually doing chapter 12. We were doing the study. Nana said, at one particular shloka, I don't remember which shloka, he said, you stop here, go back to Karma Yoga, finish Karma Yoga, and then continue with rest of chapter 12.
Oh, I think this is the same. That is 12.5. He says, this Avyakta Rupa, Upasak, in Kannada it is, Nanna Avyakta Rupada Upasakariye Kastavu Hechu. Means it is very difficult to pray as an Avyakta Rupa, means Nirguna Rupa. ದೇಹಾಭಿಮಾನಿ ಉಳ್ಳವರಿಗೆ ನಿರ್ಗುಣ ಉಪಾಸನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಿರವಾಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ಯಕ್ತವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದುವುದು ಕಷ್ಟ. He says that. Then I was just difficult it is. Now it is understanding here again. Wonderful it is. So I immediately opened the 12th chapter, and though I was not present when Nanaji has told, but okay, but I am into that, therefore I could catch it immediately. Thank you.
So maybe each of us would like to give our understanding, and then we'll go ahead.
Hari Om, my takeaway is staying in that feeling of abundance and in the feeling of gratitude. And then with knowledge, I'm sure we all can sail it easily.
That is what the Sudarshan Kriya is, the happiness program we do, no? You are happy already. So wonderful it. Guruji has given some completely within that.
For me, it was a revelation that desires are going to come, because that's where we keep feeling that we should not have desires. But then that is a part of Prakriti. But then whether to act on them or not, it's up to us. That is really.
This daily practice of yoga nirodha, vritti nirodha, there's all desires, the tendency to desire. So desires comes like that, you see. The tendencies, you have some liking, you have some not liking. That is what they said, no, the police work on the behavior of the criminals. So everyone will have some tendency. To go out of this tendency, you have to do yoga. Yoga vritti nirodha. So doing sadhana daily, you will be slowly retrieving back to you're cleaning your mind, clarity of mind will come, sincerity of work will come, and purity of heart also will come. Now that is what we do when we do sadhana daily.
Jai Gurudev, my whole impression of this Karma Yoga was mainly that we have to get away with the raga dvesha, like the likes and dislikes, only by practicing, like making the mind alert every time when you get entangled in your likes and dislikes. The thought should come. Maybe we'll have to initially we will have to check on our thoughts whenever there is some likes for something or dislike for something. And when we repeatedly check our thoughts, then it will over a period of time it will become your swabhava, what I've been doing. Like whenever a thought come like this, you have some dvesh feeling for someone because of something, then just get alert and start thinking, no, he or she is also the same soul what you are, and it's because of his swabhava that he's acting like this. So you let it go. So it's I give like I whenever the things come this way, I practice in this manner.
Ultimately is that you are bigger than the problem. You have to understand that. That's what Paramatma, the last, this one. Above the buddhi, you are what is that? Your
Atma.
buddhi
Paratastu saha.
means you are bigger than whatever you are, So your problem, the desire, is very small. You are so big. If you get that understanding in you, then desires will all vanish. So it's a wonderful that catch there. You are bigger than the problem. You have to understand that, then the problems go.
What I'm still, I feel that when it comes to karma yoga, maybe our own desires, we don't have desires for ourselves. And therefore, even the Shama and Dhamma automatically happens for us when we are doing karmas. But as far as others are concerned, like I talked about my son meeting with an accident last year, that time the desire for him to be healed by Gurudev quickly does come up in the mind. So I don't know, like yesterday was my younger brother who expired during the pandemic. It was his birthday. And I did get emotional about it still, in spite of all the knowledge. So I don't know, like desires under our control, yes, where it is for us. But like now, Guruji's visit is there in February. So I'm in the group of core group where we have to go. We are having about 1,000 courses all over Maharashtra. Guruji said Bhakti Ki Lair from Maharashtra Life. So we are working on that project. So we are having about 1,000 courses. 600 are announced. Another 400 to go. So those who are not announced, we are going to go and meet them personally and all that. So desire is there that bring people back to the fold, bring teachers back to the fold, make them have courses. Those desires are still there. in spite of being on the path for 20 years or whatever. I mean, they also should not be there.
Um,
I don't know.
They
I
Shreyas,
don't see
right?
desires.
Shreyas, to bring people on the path. They are our, I mean, I don't think that they are Shreyas, no, Parsiji.
Loka Kalyan ke liye you're doing, right?
You're
So,
doing it like a suhrit, no, with a well-meaning intention. You're meaning well for everybody. You want to do good for everybody. So that is a sattvic desire. It is, see, desire itself is not wrong. It is not right or wrong. Desire is fine. But how you deal with the desire? Here, with respect to the 400 other courses that are to be announced, you go ahead and then inspire all the teachers to do what they have to do, doing your 100%. The consequence, whatever happens, and you do it as, of course, you're doing it as an offering to Gurudev. All of you are doing whatever you're doing there for the sake of Gurudev. So that itself is karma yoga. And then when you do your level best, whatever happens, the consequence, whether you're able to achieve all the 400, all the 1,000 courses that you want to announce, whether all that manifests or not, ultimately that you also drop. You take whatever comes. So I think here having the desire is not wrong. That is not what you have to control. That is inevitable. And you're getting a very sattvic desire.
No, in 18th
Perfectly
chapter,
fine.
Krishna tells that, no, you spread it. That's a very good thing. You are with me.
Yeah.
He says that. Now, the same thing, Guruji, yesterday only the post has come. When you spread the wisdom, when you spread the fragrance of knowledge around you, know that you are walking with me.
Right.
That is Guruji's words. These are. It is
And
same
that's
as
what Krishna also says, no, in this chapter.
that's what. So the you should not think that it is a small desire. It is a very big desire. He
And
says,
it
no,
is
you
for
should.
done for Loka Kalyana.
Mm.
That is
So,
what.
and for Atma Shuddhi, you will be doing it.
Yes, when Guruji says, no, if you have a desire, make that desire very big. So here, so the small desires will go.
And I think regarding your brother and your son, that desire is not wrong. Regarding your son, desire for wanting him to be healed, you directed that to a prayer, which is fine, which is the best thing to do. Right? So I think desire itself is not a problem. How we deal with the desire, that is the issue.
Okay.
And for me, when I look at all the happiness course points, it is actually summing up karma yoga. You know, opposite values are complementary. Sukhe dukhe same bhutva. So labha labha jaya jaya. So whether or not you are in the pairs of opposites, be standing steadfast, and then not to accept people and situations as they are, not to bring in your filter of raga dvesha there, not to become a football of others' opinion. Please stay steadfast on your path, not to be swayed by what people say. And then do not see intention behind others' mistakes. That again, in so many ways, is handling your desire. Your desire and your and then comes present moment is inevitable, being spontaneous in your action and accepting whatever with that present moment is inevitable. All the others also will follow through. You will accept people and situations as they are. You will not see intention behind others' mistakes because you've accepted it. It is inevitable, and you are in complete acceptance of that. So from a why, your life will become a full wow, full of wonder. You'll not keep getting caught up in the cycle of samsara.
True, yeah, I got it now.
You always think that whenever you are doing spreading the knowledge or going to a person for asking to do the course, you feel that Guruji is always with you. Even if I am alone, if nobody, my volunteers come, I go many times alone. That time I feel Guruji is with me and I'm not alone, for this spreading of the knowledge. So spreading of the Sudarshan Kriya or asking for this course, doing the course, you are doing a very great job. That is 18th chapter. Similarly, that is all.
In the 18th chapter, Krishna says, no? He says, those who sing praises of me, those who teach this knowledge of mine to others, they are me alone. They are the dearest to me. And that's what even Gurudev says. I'm with you every time you're doing my work.
Yes, I feel that way only.
So
even if no volunteers come, I go alone. I don't feel alone.
Yeah.
I say always Guruji is with me and he's standing behind me.
And Persiji, you're doing phenomenal work. So, and we really appreciate your humility. Really, that's such a wonderful virtue you have.
For me, I feel I'm nowhere near that jnani. So what I am now is a karmi, and to walk on that karma yoga path, this chapter has been very, very important for me, because what I'm doing, I need to do it in the right way. So this chapter, I have to do it again and again.
Yeah. If all of us agree, we will repeat this chapter again.
Yes,
will.
please.
Better.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
from my side.
Huh?
Yes, from my side.
Yeah. Because we have gone through the full chapter now with a little understanding, then we will go through it again. Then it will become a little, I will not say established. I hope it's established in all of us. At least that knowledge will become clearer and clearer. And it is like that little boy taking that dirty basket to the, to the river and bringing in water in that. All that dust, little by little, will start getting cleaned up. So that clarity will dawn. Each time there is a different understanding. So this knowledge
that was happened for me, that Shama Dhamma. No? I have been knowing it, but so clarity came in this Manana. Thanks for it.
And the clarity in, or the flow in which we think also will be smooth. Like, okay, when I have a desire, what do I do? If at all I have to do some work, what steps I need to take? That the flow would be there in the thought.
Yeah.
My takeaway is that the desire comes, as Swamiji said in the last, see all the circus going on in the head, just be humorously and enjoy all the fun instead of getting too much, caught up by outside things. Jai Gurudev.
So from being a bhogi, we have to become a yogi. And from the yogi, you have to move further and become a jnani. For us, for right now, we all should be yogis. Our mind, we should be manipulating our mind to be happy. remember that sentence where Bogi is one who manipulates the outside world and situations, whereas for his happiness, whereas a yogi is one who manipulates his mind, whereas a rogi is one who's so diseased in his body and mind that he's not even capable of manipulating the world. So I think we're all not rogis, certainly not rogis. We may have some tinges of bogi. So from that, we should make ourselves complete yogis first. And this will help.
So one more question in my mind is, like we are doing seva, like, and uh, I see some of us tend to do what is easy. Like say if it's a blood donation camp to be held, that's a very easy job, calling seva, calling people up and getting them to a blood donation camp. But going to the poor and downtrodden people, say like in the slums of India, and then starting some project for them there. There, though they are yogis or karma yogis, I don't I don't see many people wanting to get involved. Or even if I state, okay, this has been a project which is successful, say in Dharavi, let us replicate it elsewhere. They will say yes, but nobody comes forward. And then like you need to really find people who are like-minded to get that project off. Like in Dharavi, we started sewing. We used to give machines to ladies so that they could earn their livelihood. We started with paper bags, then cloth bags for malls and hotels, five-star hotels, for the laundry bags and slippers and all that. And then slowly, we got better and better orders. And then like stitching was taught so they could even earn their livelihood through it by stitching dresses and all. So we used to have a trained teacher coming to teach them stitching there in Dharavi. Now we have started a refined oil, this thing. We have given them machines that you don't use refined oil. Ghani ka tel, we used to call it. Like you crush the peanuts and take out coconut oil, you take out peanut oil like that. We have started and that would be sold by them only. So the sponsorship was given. We bought the machines, we did the inauguration, and now they'll run the show themselves. So that takes some doing. We need to work on that, get ladies to get involved, and then they can earn their livelihood. But I see there's a lot of pick and choose, like whatever is easy, people want to come forward to do. I don't know, even that seems to be a desire in my mind. Like, how long will I keep going to new areas, developing them? Now I'm 70. So it's a tough ask, but more people should get involved in developing new areas, come out of comfort zones, go and work amongst the poor and downtrodden, give them a livelihood and see if they sell it to us only. Our knee joint pain and all that we suffer from will go away. We are no more using refined oil. We are using pure oil.
No, at this point, you have to satisfy with this karmanye vadikaras. We do our job, results will lead to the God itself, Paramatma. Then only you will be, your mind will be calm,
Yeah, no, my mind is not disturbed, but it is like
no, you were telling,
I have to look for alternatives. I have to find people who would be like-minded, find the sponsors myself and get them on the job.
Whatever you do, you're doing some seva. That itself is a very big seva. Think that way and proceed on. Mat karma kruta means you do for myself. That is what Krishna said. Mat karma kruta mat paramo mat bhakta sangha chita nirvairasya bhuteshu yas mameti pandava. Sangha varjitaha means without the sangha also. You just leave to me, you are me only, he says in that 18th chapter, no, not 18, 11th chapter 55.
The Sangha there is not Sangha as in a group. Sangha is the attachment to the result. That is one. And second, what I wanted to say was Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. So ultimately, even the seva we are doing is for our own sake, because it brings us joy, isn't it? So, expecting others also to follow is good. That desire is good. But if it does not get fulfilled, let it not lead to anger and therefore the downward negative spiral of dejection, of frustration. Oh, what will happen? After me, there is nobody else to take care of this. No, let it go take you to that zone. Rather, that let that desire be there. There will be someone. See, Gurudev had this beautiful vision, and that vision itself that sankalpa itself has made all of us such volunteers, isn't it? So it will happen. That trust also should be there. That shraddha should be there, that it will be taken care of. What you can do, you do. And you're doing it so well to the best of your ability. And then leave the rest.
One question he asked, what makes people choose certain kind of karma? Well, that was his question too. Like, why someone, though he's a karma yogi, why someone chooses to do only, urban...
Maybe that is multifactorial. It may not be just 1 + 1 = 2. It may be his swabhava, maybe it is the prarabdha, maybe it is... See, there are some people who go to jails to do courses, some teachers. Why don't all the teachers go to jails? Because it's such an important thing. Why don't all teachers go to slums? Why don't all teachers become corporate teachers? They all have different roles, responsibilities, based on, I think, their prarabdha, based on their swabhava. And of course, maybe there is an element of raga dvesha when it comes to, during DSN, if you remember, there are 4 kinds of seva warriors. The butterfly type, the snake type, the complete seva warrior. So we're all in different levels of seva, and with respect to our attitude to seva. So there may be some who are like, just they will just pick and choose what they want to do. Something which is convenient, they will do. They are the butterfly type. So I think it is multifactorial.
Swabhava.
It's not just a straight one word thing.
Yeah, it is to do with the swabhava.
Swadharma, we can say that also.
Hariom, Parsiji, you are truly inspiring. Dr. Renu has written that you are doing wonderful Nishkam job, and I am really inspired. I request you that please, since you are already 70, I did not know that you are 70. Now we want to preserve your expertise and your experience. So kindly either make some YouTube videos through which we can inspire. Why I'm telling? Because I was a part of academic institute here in India, MS University Baroda, and we were doing lot of work. Before my marriage, I was involved with so much of social work. So if a person like you has done so much without being affiliated with any academic institute, but just with the grace of Gurudev, you are truly an epitome of you. I have no words for you, Persiji. So kindly either write or make a YouTube video so that for future generation, like if some people would like to go ahead with other cities, like what you did in Mumbai, can be done anywhere in the world. Because it is not now only India, it is, I'm looking at the world around, and so many slums, they need attention, whether it is US or other countries. They definitely need to bring these all things to the focus. And I do agree that we choose our comfort and we do not like to come out of the comfort zone. But you will be definitely inspiring. Kindly make YouTube videos, or you make some publication through which people can read and they can follow the steps how to because so many people, they have this Shreyas desire to work for the people, to help the people, but they may not know the right way. Although they are a part of NGOs like Art of Living or Chinmaya Mission. So this is my personal request, Persiji, and thank you for sharing everything what you are doing. Like just now you said about the oil, I mean, this was, for the past 6 months I have been thinking that this refined oil has created so many problems, and how to bring, I mean, it is such a wonderful idea to bring people to the uh, health aspect, and to bring them, giving them the economic background, economic support, and they are earning something, and they are doing something which will not only help the society but also their own health. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad, Persiji.
That's
Thank
such a
you.
lovely suggestion. Very lovely suggestion, Bela.
My only
So
weakness is my technical ability.
don't worry. I know I'm coming to that. Don't worry about that. If you require any help, it's very, very simple to put it on YouTube. So what you can do is I will guide you through that. I'll certainly guide you
I'm
through that.
always there. I'm in
Any of
person.
your volunteers can also help you. That's not a big deal at all. I will take you through that.
My engineering graduates have graduated and they have moved on. Otherwise, they used to help me with all my technology stuff.
But we are still connected virtually. So there is no requirement of physical proximity in order to get things done. We can, Vijayji is there. He's there in our group. I'm with my little knowledge. I can't claim I know a lot, but with my little knowledge, maybe I can also help you. So don't worry about the technical aspects. What Bela suggested
if,
is a wonderful suggestion, and it will remain for posterity, isn't it?
yeah,
You need to just have somebody to record it, and then you can send it to someone like Brahmraji or Vijayji. They will compile it together, and they can put it on Instagram and YouTube. That would be a great thing, Persiji.
okay.
Yeah.
I have not yet learned how to announce a course on CRF. All those things I don't know. All is done by my volunteers. I
Yeah.
never have cash. Everything is done through people. I still not have learned. I belong to the times when we used to have a form to be filled and all those kind of things, and the expense statements to be submitted. And I've never
Same
done.
problem with me, Persiji. I am also 69, coming to 70 now in April. I asked help from other volunteers. Same problem. I'm not good with computer or.
Don't worry. If you need help, because I look after the harmony for Bahrain. If you require any help with announcing a course and all that, it's a simple thing. I can walk you through that. Not an issue. Hmm?
Thank you, Brahmraji.
Yeah.
I am facing same problem. I go with that farm, old farm. They don't accept. I have to go to ashram. Oh, so much difficulty I'm facing from the.
Don't worry. I think harmony is the same all throughout the world. So maybe we can do a Zoom session sometime. And it's very, very simple. Very simple. All you have to do is just do it once or twice, and it becomes like easy to do. So I think meaning of Om we'll do tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll stop here today. And
This is like Percy's intention is so good. So see how the God has arranged things for him for carrying out his desire of spreading this knowledge and his social work. So it's the practical thing happening in the class only.
yeah. And Dr. Renu says if we can all contribute financially as well for your projects,
Yes.
Persiji.
Very
So you have a project already in the making now.
yeah, we will all contribute for it.
Oil is creating havoc. So I wanted this. See, we are doing 3 projects. One is making, in Dharavi, we are making sanitary pads at very economical rates and giving them that Pavitra project is there, where young girls are taught about hygiene, health and hygiene. When they enter their teens, they get into their menstruation cycle and all that. So that is one project which the ladies are handling. And now we are making sanitary pads at economical rates. Second is this oil, Ghani ka tel. And the third project is we are collecting batteries, recycling of the mobile batteries, etc. And they can be reused. So that project is also starting. So these are three projects started in Dharavi after the sewing kit, sewing machine project. And I want to replicate it in other areas. Let's see, we will find people to do that. Some volunteers will come.
It will happen.
Yeah. In Dharavi, Gurudev spent one full day. Can you imagine in the slums of India? The
Wow.
Guruji, because of the good work done there.
Mm.
And the volunteers there itself are full of initiative and drives. And they are the poor and downtrodden. They have no other choice. They have to stand up on their legs. They have to have the daily earnings.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
I stated all this because I found this to be a weakness with me, that more people should join in to doing seva, which is more difficult, is my thought process, rather than take the easy way out. It's a weakness with me. That is why I stated it.
Yeah, I understand that, but maybe here for our own evolution, rather than judging others, maybe we should just inspire them, and with your intention itself, with your sankalpa bala itself, things will start happening. You will get enough volunteers. Everything will fall in place. If not anything, Gurudev is there. So it will happen. For certain, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, even I was just thinking, and then these days I think on the lines of astrology also, because if you have a good Saturn, which is a saver, if you have a good Saturn in the right place, then you become really like people who would like to serve in, like, worker community. They would like to work in with them, making group with them. So good Saturn is a, if you have Saturn in your good Saturn in your chart, you'll be doing that kind of work. So again, this is a swabhava and a swadharma. People will be following accordingly.
So I think the policy should be live, let live, rather than naming or judging others.
That's right, because they have come with that prakriti. So they themselves may not be able to help it. Like there are people with good sun and sun atmakaraka. They will be only bossing around. I mean, it is their swabhava, and they'll get the work done from others. But the Saturn person will not. He himself will work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice. So should we wind up here today? We'll restart chapter 3 again. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om, Dhanyavad. Brahmaraji, convey our regards and love to Nanaji and Amma, please.
Yeah. I told him yesterday that all of us are keen for him to start back. He said, give me a few more days. I gave him also the idea that he said, what do you want me to do? And I said, this is the intention. We want to read the Gita home study with you, like we did the 18th chapter, so that when we have some doubts or some clarification, we have some reference to go to. You will be our guide, rather than us getting into our own little understanding, which may be right, which may not be right. So that way we will be clear in the knowledge input that we get. So he said, yeah, let's give it some time, and he will eventually come. We'll have to figure out the timing and things like that. So yeah, that will happen.
Dhanyavad,
Yeah.
Maharaj.
Jai Guru.
Thank you so much.